Hi guys, welcome to the channel talking all things Zelda. Let's today address a question that is cropping up more and more as people finish Tears of the Kingdom. Will there be DLC and what form will it take? And is it about to be announced imminently? You'll want to stick around to hear some of the more inconceivable but interesting ideas of where they could take a DLC expansion pass. Let's dive straight into this by acknowledging the fact that it is more than likely we will see a September Direct from Nintendo, in addition to the Mario Wonder specific Direct we had this week. Being as September is a key month for Directs based on previous years. So, do we get a Tears of the Kingdom DLC announcement in this Direct? I think there is a half chance, noting the fact that Breath of the Wild DLC was actually announced just before that game released. I do, however, think they will have purposely waited longer here, given the scope of gameplay and opportunities already available in Tears of the Kingdom. It is a much larger game than Breath of the Wild to digest, but the timing is probably now right, with most day one purchasers having finished the story at least. There is also the noticeable omission of a master mode or a new game plus, something that was specifically added in the Breath of the Wild DLC. This is probably the main reason I am leaning towards the announcement of DLC at some point. If Nintendo were going to leave the game as it was, I think this mode would have been included from the outset. On the other hand, I think if we don't get any form of announcement soon, and by soon I probably mean up until May 2024, i.e. within a year of release, I think they may leave the game as it is, and will have no doubt already started work on the next mainline Zelda game. At the conclusion of Tears of the Kingdom, I certainly felt like the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom duology was complete. It does not necessarily need any additional content. Having said that, that doesn't mean that I don't want DLC. So, what form could a potential DLC package take? I think we will get the obvious additions, such as Master Mode and some form of Challenge Mode akin to Trial of the Sword, even if many of the Shrines of Light were essentially bite-sized Trials of the Sword, having your weapons and gear stripped away. The beauty of Trial of the Sword, however, comes from the continuation and progression of obtaining new gear across trial rooms. But what else could we get? Hang around for part 3, in which I'll go over some of the more out there concepts, but I believe we're most likely to get a new story or challenges that focus on the skies and sky islands, an area that is criminally underutilized in Tears of the Kingdom. Previous iterations of our hero have not been adverse to a bit of self-discovery. In Majora's Mask, Link sets out on a deeply personal mission. Tears of the Kingdom Link has already given everything he can to this world. Nobody would begrudge him some time to dig into his roots. Other than the fact that he is the son of a knight, little is known about his origins. A DLC could be the perfect opportunity to delve into this. There is even reference in Tears of the Kingdom as to the islands being lifted into the sky to allow the hero to be born safely. So a DLC story expansion could explore this. The sky seems the most logical place to add DLC, as there are no drastic changes required to the overworld, i.e. you just build upwards. The sky segments of Tears of the Kingdom already provide some of the game's highlights, so letting players venture further skyward, potentially to Skyloft or a city in the sky, would be epic. I absolutely loved the journey to the Wind Temple and the Water Temple, those that involved ascending further upwards through the use use of new mechanics. Surely this is the direction a DLC takes. More opportunities for players to explore the wonderful skies above Hyrule, and without the need to introduce a dramatic new threat, much like the interplay with the Sheikah monks in the Breath of the Wild DLC. But let's obliterate logic for a second and have a bit of fun. Here's a few ideas and directions that the Zelda team could run with if their creative license was left untamed. Raru's Hyrule. And this one is tough because I'm not sure who you would play as. Would you play as Raru as he builds Hyrule in its infancy years, or could we play as Zelda from the moment she arrives in the past, living the events leading up to the imprisoning war? This would obviously involve a drastically overhauled overworld, as the Sky Islands would still be on the surface. But running around Hyrule in its origin years would be fantastic. Another avenue available, Hyrule gets flooded, Wind Waker style, making traversal across the map challenging again, and we are provided with a plethora of additional objects to tackle this harsh new environment. Perhaps some of Link's abilities are stripped away from him, or how about we go back in time to the calamity 10,000 years previously, in which we play as the hero of that time, being able to visit the various ruins and places across Hyrule in their non-decayed states, in the age of a blossoming civilization. Alternatively, we stay in the present with a new threat to Hyrule, or better yet, and a much more interesting concept, an alternate or parallel kingdom, like Termina or Lorule, perhaps even connected to the depths, with an unknown threat as devastating as Majora's Mask, for example. Yes, this would involve an overhaul, but the brilliance of parallel characters such as in Termina and Lorule could really elevate Tears of the Kingdom's world to a new dimension, quite literally, further pulling the player into the darker mysteries surrounding some of the story threads. Wrapping up then, do you think we're going to see Tears of the Kingdom DLC announced in a September Direct? What would you love to see added to the game? And if you share my passion for all things Legend of Zelda, please help me out and hit that subscribe button. I've got lots of stuff planned. Thanks, have a good one, and catch you next time.